Good morning, Jenny. How are you going?
I am very well, Kylie. How are you today?
Good. I'm just trying to set up that new streaming thing. Well, not set it up. It should be just press that button and go. But it's
Well, it
doesn't
sounds
seem
like
to
it
be.
is because it's telling me we're custom live stream. We've got a custom live streaming service.
It worked then. Jenny, you look so beautiful and you are our Friday morning ray of sunshine in yellow yellow. It's
Well, it's not
gorgeous.
always a yellow morning. I had a very slow start. I dragged myself out of bed for gym this morning, going, I don't want to do this. I kicked my butt entirely, and I thought I need to feel like bright and happy for this day today. So that's what I'm doing.
To be honest, I'm really glad to hear you say that because I just thought you were one of those that just bounced out of bed at 4 a.m. every day. And so it's good to hear that you have the moments where you're like, not
I
today.
actually, Michael had been in bed for 2 hours and not awake, and I was like, should I go today? Should I? Just waiting for him to be like, no, don't go. And he was like, rah, rah. And I was like, no, you go. So yeah, sometimes you have to do stuff. It's one of those things. And I was thinking about it, thinking that I don't have, there are days that I love it and would bounce out of bed and go, this is awesome. But today it was just not one of those days. And then it was a really ridiculously hard session. Look, I found it really hard. My colleague is like, she's like, this is tiring, but her heart rate didn't get up. I'm like dying. And because it was like ridiculous number of exercises and all planks and sit-ups between other things. And I was like, really? Okay. Okay. But then I feel good now. So obviously it's that, you have to push through that pain. It's like a great metaphor, I think. If you sometimes you just have to do it, you push through that pain because you know you're going to feel good afterwards. You know you're going to, get the win or whatever it is after. I'm sure there's a great metaphor and a life lesson in there somewhere.
You are so good, Jenny. So good. It's definitely my biggest struggle is if I don't feel like it, do I really have to?
You want no, see, my struggle is not having like tea and coffee and cheese and wine. That's I need to drain.
I just have come off my 3-day juice fast, finishing this morning. And what was the first thing I did?
Have a juice.
Made my green juice. So I thought, why not continue? The only thing I've changed today is that I'm having a cup of tea. So I thought, let's just keep going with that juicing while we're on a roll. So
Exactly. Why not? Yeah, see, because while you're doing it, it's easy. It's a good habit, and that's how habits are formed. You just break through that little bit of pain barrier for habit. You go, oh my gosh, and then all of a sudden, it just becomes what you do.
that's right. The first time I did juice fasting, I found it incredibly, incredibly challenging. This time, I've just completely loved it. And I just thought, oh, well, here we go. It feels good. I feel fresh, energized, living off juice. So, my daughter had Tim Tams last night. I was like,
Oh,
we never have Tim Tams in the house. Now you do. And but no, very good. Go me. Go me, I say. Go me.
let's see today. I'm excited about our topic today because we've been having these really different topics, like about we've always talked about digital media and marketing and business strategy and all the stuff that people know us for. But the last couple of weeks we've been kind of getting down dirty, talking about the things that people don't like talking about, which is around money and how you spend your money. So today we're really talking about that. Where is the best place to spend your money and how to get the best bang for your buck for both business, marketing, all those things. So I'm so excited about today.
Me too, Jenny. I've been thinking about it a lot this morning in particular, because one of the most common things that happens in my world of business is that people will book a discovery call. And, as we all know, there's basically one of 5 things that they're coming at all businesses with. There's generally around that many problems, and you know that they've all got the same kind of problems. One of the big problems is people coming to me and saying, I've been spending a fortune on Facebook ads, Google ads, all the ads, and it's not making a difference. The ads are getting more expensive, or I'm getting less reach for that same expense, and nothing's changing, nothing's improving. And then we take a little look at what it is that they're doing without the ads, just all the other stuff, and they're almost doing nothing. So it seems to me quite a common thing that as soon as people think, oh, we'll spend money on something, then they can drop the rest of it, which of course isn't true, is it?
No, but I also think Facebook ads and Google ads in some respects, and for some people, put up as like the messiah of growing your business. So, you know, if you want to do it, it's the quick fix. Come on, get some ads, get some Facebook ads, get Google ads, get LinkedIn ads, you know, all that stuff, and you will get your business growing. And it's only one part of the puzzle. And that's where I think we forget that it's, you know, yes, you can spend that money and it will work, but you need to have the foundations right first in order to make that happen.
That's so true. And that's definitely what I want to talk about today is those foundations before you spend the money. But also when you are going to spend the money, just clicking boost on a post because Facebook suggested that you might reach a few more people has no strategy behind it. It's not sitting there about what it is. Oh, sorry, not let me start again. I just got a message from Honey saying she was in the waiting room, but she must be in a different place because she's not in this waiting room. So I'm not sure what's happening there. Anyway, so I'll leave the others to deal with that. So what I wanted to say though was that if you just boost a post, there's been no thought or attention to the entire ad strategy going on behind the scenes. So just putting some money on top of, you know, a post that you've already done and possibly haven't even thought through either is not really going to get you many results. So the problem with...
You have to remember they're trying to make money. So
yeah.
Also, yes, they might go, oh, this is an amazing post to boost. You should totally do it. But
yes.
It may not be because
yes.
what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to boost your post because that's as a free platform, that's where they make their money. And that's perfectly legitimate because that's their business. But we have to be mindful as business owners and say, where is that, and have that decision making, which I know we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so going ahead and just setting up your own Facebook ads, for example, I think it's no different to back in the days when I was doing, you know, graphic designers doing a lot of graphics work for people. So many, many years ago, I would have people come to me and I would be horrified with what they'd already made for themselves as a logo in PowerPoint using clip art, for example. Horrible stuff. Then Canva came along. So yes, people are able to make their own stuff that's better because there's some great templates, but still some horror stuff comes out of there. And so just because you can doesn't mean you always should, or maybe try and then seek some advice on it. Same with, you know, if I've got a car engine problem, I'm not just going to look under the hood, go, oh, maybe I just need to tighten that or tweak that, and then off we go, because I can open the bonnet, so I may as well fix it. It's the same kind of issue. Yeah. So just because the ads are there doesn't mean that you don't really need to seek some advice around the best way forward, particularly around setting up your audiences and what is your outcome. Is it just that you want to get more followers? Is it that you want to drive people to your site? Is it, you know, but then that said, is your site ready for conversions? So there's so many things to take into account. And of course, the same goes with Google ads. There's a gazillion different types of Google ads, and, you know, setting it all up correctly from the start is such an important thing. So I feel really sad when I just see money getting thrown down the toilet, really, because there's no clear direction about what they're meant to be doing with it. But also, I think a lot of people aren't aware that as soon as they start spending money, the organic reach goes down significantly, because Facebook goes, oh, yay, they're ready to spend money. So, yay, we're on a good thing. Exactly like you said, the platform's free. So where they make their money is in the ads. So tell me a little bit about your experience of it, Jenni.
So I've never actually gotten into directly doing ads because I think for me in the work I do, a lot of mine's word of mouth, and we're having that conversation. In fact, I was actually gifted some Facebook ad credit, but I just went, after talking to you, I don't need to spend it right now because I need to make sure everything else is in the row first. And I guess I'm a foundations girl. We know that. I like to get my ducks in a row before I actually start expanding and growing and doing the other things. So my experience has been, and with clients who've used it, they've had great experiences, but they're spending a large amount of money. We're talking $800 to $2,000 a month on ads in order to get their multi-$1,000 return. And it's that idea is that if you want to get high returns, then you have to actually put in a fair chunk of money at the front end in order to get that. So my experience has been that when you have everything in a row, it's great, but you can't, it's not like playing the lotto where I'm going to get the smallest quick pick and hope to get the $50 million. If you want to play and get the big returns, then you actually need to be committed and okay with spending the money in order to get those and generate those returns. And I think that's what I really like to talk about today, because when we're talking about spending money, because $20 here and there isn't going to get you the return, and it adds up in a small business. $20 a week, that's $1,000 a month. Sorry, $1,000 a year. And I know that doesn't sound much, but if you're doing that across multiple platforms, across multiple groups, and spending that much money, it adds up.
And remembering that $20 right now, they might say, okay, it might reach 200 people or 2,000 people or whatever. But next week or next month, that same $20 will reach less people. So then they'll be trying to get you to spend more. And it just ends up being a big pit. That said, I definitely don't think that you shouldn't do ads or shouldn't spend money on it, but I think you need to do it strategically and really, really consciously choosing, first of all, let's talk about your customer avatars. Have you sorted out who actually is your audience? And organically, have you nailed your content? So are you getting good engagement on your organic content? Are people responding to your posts? Are they actually, clicking through in doing what you want them to do with your call to actions? Jenni, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a bit of you're no sound. We can see your mouth moving, but no sound coming out. I will just keep talking about that. So basically from whether, for example, with Facebook or social media in general, have you nailed your organic posts? Have you really made sure that you're reaching the right audience, that you're getting the results that you want from what you're posting? Have you looked at your insights? What time you should be posting for the best reach, etc. Then if we look at, for example, Google, have you nailed your SEO? Have you renamed your images? Have you done your alt text? Have you done all the different things that you could be doing around that? Are you doing fresh content all the time by way of blogs, etc.? Because if you've done nothing and just got a stagnant website and then you put all this money into Google ads, should you possibly be doing Google shopping? There's so many different kinds of ad sets that you can do. So without those foundations, and that can be years worth of work or months worth of work or weeks or days, depending on how committed you are to making some serious fast changes.
And I think, can you hear me now?
Yes, great.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. So I think one of the challenge around that is also having that conversation, and you said it in passing, but it's actually the most important part of what you said, is what's the strategy? What are you doing it for? What are you trying to achieve? What does that look like? How does that fit into your broader business plan for your channels that you're approaching, for the type of people you engage, and where you want to grow the business? Because as you said, if you've got a Facebook based product, then Google ads may not be the right position for you, because it's not feeding into necessarily your Facebook ads, or vice versa. If you're all on Google and you don't do Facebook and you're never on Facebook, putting Facebook ads may not be the place, because you're not going to be there to comment or engage or connect with people on that platform. So really understanding how they connect and the impact that one has on the other and vice versa, I think is really critical when deciding how much and where you want to spend.
Absolutely. And getting that traffic to your site by way of a paid ad is all very well and good. But then is that traffic going to convert?
Yeah.
Have you tested?
Do you have a good website? Is the website actually engaging? Do people actually want to stay on it? Are they going to click? And my favorite piece that you always tell your clients in all your webinars is, what's the call to action? What is the step they want to take on that website? Is it easy for them to find? Or is it like an Easter egg hunt where they spend 5 minutes and realize they only got the tiny egg and they didn't want that one in the first place?
That's right. And split testing on your site on every single page is important. So checking out, should my call to action button say learn more? Should it say explore? Should it say shop now? Should it say click here? There's so many different ways that you can ask people to do things. So have you tested the color of the button so that it stands out, or does it just blend in? There's no hard and fast rule, because it's different for every single business, every single website. Excuse me, I'm croaky. And that's a really, really important thing. So not just about how to get people there, but how is your website performing? Really big one.
Looking to spend money to increase my visibility online. What's the first thing that we need to do, or that we want to share in terms of the first tip you want to do before we even start spending that money?
Oh, definitely. Just going back to how many months ago did we talk about this, Jenni, with our I know that you don't call them customer avatars, or client avatars. That's one of the ones that I use the name of. But there's so many different ways of referring to them. But nailing who it is that is your audience, and does the audience that you've got now match with who you want to be having as your audience? Because the whole world is not your audience. You've got to find out exactly who your message is going out there to. So that to me is always the first bit. The second bit would be keyword research. So once you've actually found out how people are searching, what they're searching for when they're actually looking for your products, which is so often completely different to what you would have thought it would be. For example, 2 years ago, would anybody have searched for a digital marketing coach? No, not even 3 years ago, definitely not 2, maybe a year ago, starting to get more of that happening. Because since COVID, since more people used to being on Zoom all the time, more people just really more aware of digital ideas for their business. Suddenly digital marketing has become more of a buzzword. But a few years ago, no. Business consultant, yes, maybe. And then I would have talked about social media support and all of that kind of stuff. But now lots more people understand what a digital marketing coach is.
I had that conversation with a client exactly last night who is looking to grow her business and trying to work out why she's not necessarily getting traction in her market. And we've worked out that words like wellness coach, which I know some people resonate with, some don't, but it's a very searched term. People looking for wellness coaches or health coaches or life coaches, and finding ways for her to decide to determine the way that she presents and her name and her title and all those words based around the type of work she's doing and the way people are finding her. It was the exact conversation we had. We were doing it from a branding perspective, but of course it relates importantly to Facebook and Google Ads, because that's who you're targeting, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So having the kind of words that nobody's actually searching for, but they feel cool to you, or they feel like they represent you, isn't necessarily doing you a favor. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't stick with what you are or who you are, but then you've got to make sure that you've researched exactly those words that should be also slotted in there amongst it. So for example, once you've got your keywords, then obviously you'll keep expanding on that. But that's for everything where you start with your keywords. You can even then use it when you're looking at researching your hashtag. So it's just a great base to have, and a good grounding spot to have that spreadsheet full of keywords, and start working on where you're going to put them, etc. And of course, even putting them into your Facebook captions and all of that kind of thing. Because remember that all of these platforms, Pinterest, LinkedIn, all of those places are in effect search engines. Very similar to the way that Google is a search engine. The only one that's a little trickier as a search engine really is Instagram. But still, it is still very searchable. So
yes,
yeah.
So
what would you say? Sorry, go.
Oh, so what would I say would be the first thing to consider?
Yeah.
So for me, it's looking at, as a business, what I think part of the conversation is people and business owners are often scared to spend money. They're worried about, if I spend money, what am I taking away from something else? If I spend this money, what does that look like? And I think as a business owner, being confident and brave to say, sometimes you do need to spend money to grow your business. You bought a laptop, you upgraded your laptop, you bought a microphone, you bought a camera, all these things you just did because you knew you needed them. So getting that conversation first about why it's important and what stage in their business they're ready to grow, what does that look like? And then actually starting that mindset, or that essentially mindset conversation right from the start, to say, okay, we're going to do organic Facebook and for the next 9 months. We're going to focus on that. And then when we get this particular target, set some ideas about the target, that's when we're going to start jumping into ads or pay or boosting or other things, because it's part of a broader strategy. And I think it goes back to that conversation you started with, which know what we're trying to do. So as a business strategist, as a coach, I would be saying, let's take a step back. Let's get comfortable with spending money. Let's look at what we need to spend and move forward. I always say to my clients, when you're spending money, and I did this with a client who was shiny thing syndrome in his business. If he could buy it, if you upgrade it, he would buy it. And I actually said to him, I said, well, you have a rule now when you spend money. You have to ask yourself, will this help me grow my business? And will this allow me to get more revenue? So they're the two questions that he had to ask every time he purchased something. So even if it was a coffee cup, I was like, does that coffee going to help you grow your business? And he'd be like, oh, and so we have this conversation, but getting that mindset to understand how and where to spend your money and be okay with that, I think is really important, because then ads just become a tool that you use in the same way
buying a new laptop or a screen for your office.
Yes. And I think you could add an extra thing into that client, Jenni, and say, if you're buying a new thing, then you've got to let go of something else.
Yes.
Because I just had that conversation with the client this morning who was feeling a little stressed about the cost of a new monthly subscription. And I said, that other one, though, are you using that anymore now that you've really started enjoying using that? Because you don't need to keep it all. You regularly need to go in and assess, where am I spending money? Yep. So, and that's really tricky, particularly when you signed up to things that you just pay it yearly and it's automatically coming out of your account. I had the exact same scenario last night. I'd found a new platform I'd been using. I knew that my subscription was coming up for the other one. And what do you know? It came out a little earlier. Boom, there was another couple of $100. And I was like, damn. And then I thought, hang on though, I actually really love that one. I've been using it for a long time and they are slightly different. So I'm actually okay with having the two, but it's a really important thing to assess. Where am I going with that? So I'd like to give in a little example with trying to just one example of ads. So if you were wanting to grow your followers, because maybe we're looking at brand awareness. So we're not talking necessarily about getting people to your site or making them buy something or book something. We're just talking at the moment about just growing awareness, perhaps. Yeah. So growing your followers. So you've got some options there. You can either, really put in the hard yards, and which is obviously what I love. Finding the groups that are really going to work for you and putting value into places and, lead magnets and offering amazing value where people can see you, get to know you, like you, trust you, all of that kind of stuff. So really amazing top of funnel stuff. You can go down that road. Obviously, that's the one that I would choose for everybody. The second road is that you could go out there and you could buy followers. So there's a lot of companies out there, a bit dodgy as far as I'm concerned. You can spend a whole lot of money or a whole little money and you can get phenomenal amounts of people. Majority of them often tend to be fake accounts. And you'll find if you buy 10,000, over the next little while, they'll dwindle off, or Instagram will go through and do a big clear out. And then boom, overnight, you found that your followers have dropped by thousands because they weren't legitimate accounts. Yeah. So, and also the main one for me with that is that, are they really your ideal audience, or are you just playing a numbers game because it looks better to have 1,000 than 100 followers? Yeah. But actually, as I've said many times, it's better to have 100 followers that are authentic, that are the ones that are actually interested in what you're doing and what you're putting out there, than having 1,000 people that don't really care what you're doing. Yeah. Just to play the numbers game. So there's that as the second option. The third option is that you could do targeted Facebook ads to be raising brand awareness and growing your account. So it all depends on, I guess, time. It depends on your budget. It depends on, and the budget also means around what kind of time you can put into the growing of it organically, because not everybody has that luxury. Even though I say that's the one that I choose and that's how I teach, it also isn't realistic for some people that might have 5 minutes a day, a week spare. So I can see where growing that on, in an ad will be easier for them. But then at the same time, once they've grown that audience and they've paid for those followers, what are they going to do with them? Are you still then going to just keep targeting them with ads, or are you actually going to find a way to properly communicate with them where you're putting the time and the effort in and growing something?
Yeah. And I think ads are really interesting. I look at a lot of the times I look at the Facebook ads that come up, and I guess it's in the business that we're in that we observe things and we kind of look at things probably in a different way with a different lens to others. And often I will look at a Facebook ad from a client, and in some respects I won't click on it. I might look at them and I'll be like, before I'm going to click on this ad and take whatever it is, I'm actually going to go and type your name at the top of Facebook, and I'm going to actually have a little bit of a look around to see who you are, because I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to support that ad. And I know that sounds very strange, but for me, clicking on the ad sometimes is counterintuitive, because it does it. Yes, they can see that I've got there and they think, wow, you must be my client. But if I don't then want to actually be spammed by them and have that kind of algorithm kick in, if they're actually not for me. And I used to do that, everybody, you click on the ads and you get something cool, and then you realize next you're getting spammed, or you're getting, digitally kind of overloaded by all their stuff, and you weren't in their client range. And I think that's some of the challenges when I've seen that expansion without kind of care of the audience, is that you do end up with people who are on the list going, I don't actually want to be here. And then that's almost worse than not having them there in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. If they were just being nosy, if they're like your competitors or something, then You've got to really strategically about what you're clicking on. But Jenni, I'd like to leave with my part of this with one top tip, and that's with regards to around boosting. So most people know that boosting is really just for people that don't understand how to set up an ad strategy. But there is one time that a boost is actually okay. And I don't say that this should be your long-term strategy, but just from time to time, it can really work. And I've had some really great success with some clients with doing this. And that is that if you've got a post that's already getting really, really great engagement, so it could be leading somebody to buy something in a particular sale that you've got going on, like, you know, an Easter sale or something like that. Excuse me, I'm just turning off my volume on the ding, ding, dings. So at that point, then it would be okay to boost a post because you've already got the engagement. So Facebook's already seen that post as being worthy. It's seen that post as being, oh, yay, that's a good one that people actually really want to know more about. So because it's got engagement, then give it a little bit of a boost. So think of that word boost and actually what it really means. It's easy, isn't it, to forget what those are and just think of it as a name, but actually it's about boosting something that's already getting a bit of a leg, or giving it a bit of a leg up to something that's already out there and doing well. So that would be the only time that I would ever suggest give it a boost if it's already doing well. But as I said, when you start putting money out there, they're expecting you to do it more and more. So your organic reach will drop. So it's a really hard juggle. So really, my final top tip would be stay away from spending the money until you know what you're actually doing, and until you're feeling ready to create an entire strategy around ads and where you want to head with that. What about you, Jenni? What would be your last tip of the day?
I think it's probably similar, and I think we've stayed on this topic that while it's really important and really valuable as your business grows to consider new ways of advertising, that Facebook and Google Ads is not going to solve your problem, is not going to give you it's not going to be the answer to your problems or your concerns with your business. And it's also not going to be the magic bullet that helps you jump from one to another. It will certainly move that way, but it will only do that if there's a strategy and you have an understanding of why you're doing it and what the impact and outcomes you're going to get. Because setting KPIs, setting a plan and a goal for what you're doing it for is a really critical element when you're spending the repeated amount of money that you're doing. It's like joining a coaching program is how I would liken it. With Facebook ads and with any of the ad campaigns, you can't do it once and then leave for 6 months and then come back and do it again. Or you can, but you're not going to get the outcomes that you're looking for. You need to do it repeatedly. You need to be in there every week and sometimes every day doing the ads and doing the work so that you can get those returns. And I think until people understand that and you sit down and go, well, what's comfortable for me? How much do I want to do? How often do I want to do it? What are the types of posts? How do I A/B split test? All those things that you would develop in a strategy with people. There's no point in starting it because it's like starting a coaching program, having a great day, and then sitting on your hands for the next week and waiting for the next great day to come.
Yes,
it's wasting time and wasting money for you and also the people around you.
That's right. So choosing strategically where you spend your money.
Definitely.
And you wouldn't go out or maybe you would, but I wouldn't regularly go out and buy myself a dress without trying that dress on and putting my thought into what do I need this dress for? Is it like if I went and bought a dress for the Oscars, but there was no Oscars event coming up for me in my near future. So then I've spent money and it's just sitting there. Not being used well. So Jenni, for a topic for next week, I've got an idea in the back of my mind, but have you got something that you would like to talk about that's super exciting?
Well, I actually would love to have a conversation about looking at clients and the different types of clients we have. So it may not be next week, it might be the week after, is looking at the different life cycle and the stages of the clients that people have and the different ways that we need to address them, both in the way that we work with them, but also the way that we engage with them through digital marketing and all our communications around each of the stages of a life cycle of clients. But what were you thinking about?
No, I think that's a wonderful idea, Jenni, and I've been doing a lot of research lately around percentages of client acquisition, and then so retaining those clients or the time and effort gone into getting new clients, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a great conversation. And then the week after, we could talk about women supporting women in business. So I just ran a workshop this week for Nortec and Small Business Connect, because the government is still supporting business owners with free learnings, which is fantastic.
Which is amazing.
So yeah, it's amazing for sure. So the workshop that I ran for them this week was all about women supporting women in business. And it just was so exciting. The people in the chat were just, blah, blah, blah. There was a lot going on. It was fun. And there's
I couldn't
a lot.
get into it.
Damn. It'll be on again. I think we're running it at the end of May, I think it is.
Awesome.
So but the topic, because we were doing so much research around that topic, and as you know, my meetup group is all about, women supporting women in business. It's Positive Passionate Business Women is the name. So it's something I'm really passionate about. I know it is something you're passionate about it too.
It is 100%.
So
next week we're talking about client life cycle, and the week after we're going to be talking about basically working with women and women supporting women in business, which I think is an amazing topic and a really great way to end April. I don't know why. I just feel like it'll be the last day of April. So it's all second last day of April. It'll be a really great day to talk about and think about how we can do that more and more. So great topic.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks, Jenni. So how can people get in touch with you?
Thanks for asking. You can get in touch with me at Elephant in the Room AU. So that's at Elephant in the Room AU on Facebook and Insta. And through there, you can find my website, connect with me on email, send me a message. Let's have a chat.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And how about you? How do we get to you?
Track me down at hellomedia.team, and all the other things are around there, the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube. And for those that don't know, on the YouTube channel, there's all of the recordings of our bite-sized conversations on Friday mornings. So you can go back and watch some. It's amazing the views that we've had, Jenni. Amazing.
I know.
And also
we have one on our side as well, so we're doing the same recording. So it's about spreading the love. So you've got your followers who are following your YouTube channel, and then we've got our version on the Elephant in the Room. But because we're doing the split, people are searching for different words and different names, and it's actually helping boost the reach of both of those videos, which is phenomenal.
Yay, helping more people. We love it.
We do love it.
Thank you so much for spending this time with me again this morning.
It's gone so quickly this morning.
Yes, doesn't it always? All right, so next Friday, let's talk about the customers, and off we go, and have a beautiful Friday.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks
for joining us. Bye now.